My name is Randy Bigley. Joining me right now from the Crawford Soil and Water Conservation District, Mike Hall's with me. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Randy. How you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Real good, thanks. After a weekend like that, how can we not be nice, right?
Isn't it beautiful?
It was beautiful this last weekend, very much so.
We've had a couple good weekends this last.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, we've had a couple good weeks with temperature-wise.
I think we're back to more your typical March, early
Right.
March weather today.
We are exactly.
And the rest of this week, but sun shining, I'll take it. I'm good to go.
No snow. I mean, I don't. And we're getting to the point now. If we do get a big snow, it usually melts like a day or two later because of the way the sun is now and all that. And so we kind of got past the big hump there.
In middle of February, our daylilies were up at the house. I've seen groundhogs out.
Oh, sure.
Actually saw a buzzard the other day. So,
the birds were singing earlier this year.
And robins.
Yeah.
I saw robins the other day. So spring sprung, I think. I think you're right that we're gonna. We'll have a few more cold spells and a few more wet snowy days, I think.
And then it'll get warm.
We'll
it
take
usually
it.
does.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it gets warm
I'll
after
take
that.
It. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're going to talk trees and ponds today, right?
Trees and ponds, yep. So it's spring year, perfect time to talk about that stuff. And of course, we have our tree sale going on right now at the office, and then we have our fish sales going on at the office here too.
Okay.
So brought that information to remind people that those are going on. Obviously, we have every year, we've been having this tree sale for 30, 40 years now, I think. And so we're offering trees, and the trees we offer for sale are bare root stock trees.
Okay.
And they're selected for this area. So our soil types, our climate, and another thing that's important is we source them from this area.
Okay.
So we source them from this. They're not coming up out of the south trying to acclimate to this kind of an area, even though the species might be okay up here. The actual trees themselves are from this area. So that's important. Anybody that's out looking at trees, you ought to be looking at that, because you want to make sure that tree's going to survive in this area, in this climate, in this growing zone. So, but we do have our tree sale going on, and trees, great thing. We hear about the carbon, we hear about the climate, we hear about trees are probably
windbreakers are great.
In my opinion, the best thing you can do to help that climate out with carbon sequestration or whatever you want to talk energy savings. Trees are it. So a well-placed tree on a property can add value, can add put money in your pocket energy-wise from a heating and cooling standpoint of your home. Who doesn't like sitting underneath a shade tree?
Yeah.
Cold beverage
Right,
after work. Nice breezy afternoon or evening. Beautiful. So, planning those out and looking for where to put them and things like that, that's important. Homes, we cater to homeowners as well as, large landowners. We have programs that we offer. You mentioned the windbreaks. We have windbreak program going on now. That you can sign up and plan a windbreak of evergreens. Nice thing about those programs is that there's a cost share available to help plant the practice and pay for the trees.
Okay. And
then there's also some set aside dollars if the ground's eligible, where they'll pay you a certain rental amount, they call it. The government will rent that ground from you to put those trees on there because they believe trees are a good thing. And they will they'll pay you the rent for 10 or 15 years to put those trees there. So it's a pretty good program, that is. So you can do the windbreaks through that. If you're interested in that, contact our office, Outstone Water office, and we'll walk you through any of the program details and see if you're eligible. We'll give you estimates on costs and things like that. Another great program going on right now, and this doesn't come around very often. I think this is the first time in several years this has been offered, but it's through the CRP program, which is the Conservation Reserve Program. That's the nation's largest conservation program. As far as acres and across the nation, that's the biggest one. They are offering right now through April 7th, they're accepting applications for people that want to plant whole fields to trees. So you normally, like with just talked about the windbreaks, there's certain criteria. They have to be, this wide and this long, and they got to be in this area. We talk about maybe riparian tree plantings or they have to be next to a stream. You got all these little caveat things you have to meet, these eligibility requirements you have to meet. whole field CRP, those kind of go out the door. It can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be next to a stream. It doesn't have to be on marginal soils. It can be anywhere you want it. I mean, as far as meeting eligibility, it still has to be cropland or marginal pasture, but aren't those little caveats with limitations to lengths and widths and things like that. So that's a really good program too. So if you have those odd little fields, dealing a lot with people that have like 3 or 4 acre, 2 or 3 or 4 acre fields in the middle of a woods, used to be a pasture. Now they drive a tractor down in there and farm it. Equipment's getting bigger, harder to get equipment in and out of those little fields.
Sure.
That's a perfect opportunity to put those fields to back to what they want to be, which is trees. And so that's an opportunity that's out there right now through April 7th, and that's the Conservation Reserve Program, trees. So one of the few opportunities you have to do a mass large tree planting instead of just strips of trees. So that I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. So trees is a great thing. If you are interested in any of those programs, or maybe you just have questions about trees and planting them on your property, hey, give us a call. We're more than glad to come out and help you with that. Planting it, I always tell people when you're planting, look up, especially trees. Look for those overhead power lines.
Sure.
Things like that, and also don't forget about utilities in the ground. Last thing you want to do is put a tree on top of a tile or on your septic or leach system, and that tree's ages causes you problems down the road. So just kind of a little bit of planning, and that will save you a lot of effort and maybe some expense down the road. So, excuse me.
Well, we're moving on to ponds now.
Yeah, so ponds, spring. Ponds. Love ponds. Been doing a lot of pond site visits and test holes and things like that here lately. Our office does help with planning. We won't do the designs, but we'll walk you through the planning and stuff like that. We do test holes. We'll log make sure that the soil is able to hold, that you don't have leaky soils, let's say. So we'll do that. We'll do site analysis to make sure that you have enough water to fill the pond and maintain a pond. And so we kind of just walk you through all the steps. If you are interested in a pond, thinking about putting a pond in, give our office a call. It's a free service that we offer. There's no charge to set up an appointment. We'll come out and we'll look at the site with you. If we feel like we're ready to go on to test holes, we can do the test holes then. Test holes are just that we dig a few holes in the area where you want to put the pond, and we look at what soils are down there because we don't know what's under the ground. So we've hit sand veins before. We've hit different gravelly soils. Obviously, you get down there 8 feet, gravel's not going to hold water.
Right.
So it's better to dig 2 or 3 small test holes as opposed to an entire half-acre or third-acre pond to find out it doesn't fill with water. That's the whole point of the test holes. So that's a good thing, and we can log those test holes for you, and walk you through the soil analysis of that. We also have a lot of pond management going on. You have existing ponds out there. Now's the time. I can't stress this enough. Now is the time to begin looking at chemical applications. If you are you apply chemicals in your pond, or you had a weed problem last year, whether it was algae, whether it was coontail, submerged weeds, merged weeds, now's the time to start dealing with those. Don't wait until they get to be a problem this summer. That's too late. So April is the ideal time to begin doing that. So it's March, beginning of March, but that's the time to start thinking, getting those chemicals lined up. If you're going to do it, purchase them, find out what you're going to do. Talk to our office, talk to OSU Extension, talk to your pond specialist. Find out, what you want to do and how you want to do it this year, and what your angle of attack is on those weeds that you might have had a problem with last year. You'll be so much further ahead of the game, and it's better for the pond. The life of the pond, as well as the aquatic life that's in it.
Sure.
So a good time to think about that. Now, like I said, we do weed and fish management. So if you don't know what your weed is, and you start to see a problem with it, grab a sample of it, bring it into our office, and we'll do our best to identify it and give you a mode of attack on that. For that, as far as what chemical to use. things like that. There are other options other than chemicals for the various things, and they're a little more limited, and some will say not as successful, but they do work, and maybe will be just enough for what your pond needs as well. But you don't know until you ask.
Right, sure.
So stop in. We do have our fish sale coming up. It's ongoing right now, and we'll take orders through the April 14th.
Okay.
So that's where we have fish fry brought in to our office, and you can pick them up and turn them loose in your pond to become either food for other fish, or you can catch them and enjoy them yourself.
Sure, right,
other.
yeah.
But so that's going on. Both the tree sale and the fish sale are on our website. I do want to mention our website, crawfordswcd.org. Great place to get information. I do want to mention that we are, updating it. So be patient with us. You go under, sometimes things don't quite work right, or something, you pop a page up and it doesn't have anything there. Well, it's a work in progress. We're working through that right now, so be patient with us on that. But these are on that website, and you can download that. And if you have any questions about the fish, what fish to stock, how many to stock, give us a call. If you have any pond analysis questions, you're thinking about putting one in this summer maybe, or you have an existing one where you had a weed problem last year, give us a call. We're more than glad to stop by. Services are free. It's a good opportunity. Oh, sure. And what a great way to celebrate spring. I mean, we're talking trees and ponds. I mean, I love it, right?
One of my favorite times of year. I love springtime. Spring and summer. I love both those times. But so you guys are busy. You guys change gears, but every season, though, you guys are doing something different every season.
It's definitely moves with the seasons for sure. This is where we're at now. Here pretty soon we'll be. We have others in the office that are gearing up. We're doing a lot of surveying right now. A lot of checking construction that was put in last late summer, make sure it overwintered okay. A lot of those grass waterways, erosion control projects, things like that. So we're checking those right now, surveying, designing, getting ready for the new projects that'll be going in this spring and this summer. So busy time for sure. All
right, Mike. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.